Okay. We alive. We alive. Let me know if I'm good. Thumbs up or just let me know if I'm good. Audio's good, visual's good. Yeah, the New York Giants have solidified a top 3 pick with a slim chance to get the second overall pick, depending on if some teams win. I believe one of those we need like the Jaguars to win, the Carolina Panthers to win. There's a couple of teams we need the Detroit Lions to win. There's a couple of things that we need in order to get from 3 to 2. But again, mission accomplished. We ended up with a top 3 pick. Fantastic. We didn't have to worry about falling all the way back to 8. So we'll see what happens with that. All right. Let me know if my audio is good still. Let me see what's going on here. Okay, I sound like that. I think I'm good. I'm good. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you. Make sure everything is good here. All right, perfect. What's going on, everybody? How we doing, man? Make sure you hit that like button on the way in. Let the algorithm know that we're in the building. And let the Giants fans know that we're in the building too. What's going on, everybody? I see some people in here early too, man. Early. Jessa, what's going on? My man James, what's going on? James Thunder in the building. Pim is in the building. John May, what's going on, John? Family in the building, what's going on, Shamar? We in the building, man. Quiz Too Swift. JC, what's going on, everybody? Mo is in the building. Education Unpacked. What's going on? How everybody doing, man? It's a little bit of a lighter day. Listen, I've never been this content and this happy after the Philadelphia Eagles loss. I understood what the bigger picture was, and we're sitting in a pretty good spot. 3, yeah, that's a fact. Joseph says 3 is better than 4. That's a fact. 3 is better than 4. Now, here's the thing. Now, in the big scheme of things, we either going to get a pick of one of the top 2 quarterbacks or Travis Hunter. Like those, somebody's in play here. These guys are in play. So for me, I'm happy with that. What's going on, everybody, man? How's everybody doing, man? How's everybody doing? We wrapping up the season. Awful season. Worse than I expected it to be. Now we're moving forward. It's 2025, and we're looking to the future. And it is what it is. But we're going to talk about a couple of things, man, today. Shout out to Malik Neighbors for getting that record. See how long it stands. It'll stand for wide receivers. But Brock Bowers is still setting the rookie record as well, or has a chance to set that record as well. Malik Neighbors had, pretty good game today. Had a nice touchdown at the end of the game, too. I was a little bit paranoid for a second, man. We couldn't beat the backups for the Philadelphia Eagles. That's one thing we need to unpack, is we couldn't even beat the backups for the Philadelphia Eagles. The third, not even the backups, the third string in certain positions. It is what it is, though. I see everybody talking about this pick. We're gonna get right into it. 3 is greater than 4. What's going on, Real Cold G? How you doing, man? Khalid Pasha says Titans taking Hunter, Browns take Cam Ward, and the Giants take Shador Sanders. It could end up that way. I just know something. We're we're in the quarterback business right now. We're in a spot where hopefully it works out, or we'll see what happens, because I don't believe we have a dance partner when it comes to trading up. If we stay at 3, and again, if you're just now getting on, there's still a slim chance that the Giants, with the strength of schedule, if a couple other teams win, our strength of schedule gets a little bit weaker, and we can actually fall into that number 2 spot. But we will see what happens. We need a lot of teams to do a lot to win in order for us to get up one more spot. But again, I'm happy with a top 3 pick. And you know what? It's over. No more stressing over, falling all the way back to like pick 8. And it is what it is. But I do want to talk about this game a little bit, because I was going back and forth on Twitter, basically the whole game with a lot of different fans thinking that I think we were still trying to win this game. I don't think that Brian Dable was trying to tank. Like, a lot of people are still saying, oh, we're tanking. Well, if we were really tanking, Tommy DeVito probably would have played. Malik Neighbors wouldn't have. If we were really tanking. But I will say this, though. Another season has ended, and I really feel bad for Jalen Hyatt. I really feel bad for Jalen Hyatt, a kid that scored 5 touchdowns in a single college football game, in 2 full seasons in the NFL, can't get 1 touchdown. That's crazy to me. And then to add insult to injury, they didn't play him in this game until the last drive. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me, but that's how you treat your players, man. That's how he treats his players, people that you actually traded up for too, because people forget we traded up for Hyatt. We gave up a fourth to get Hyatt, to move up to get Hyatt, and this is how we treat guys that we traded up for, man. It's crazy and it's insane to me. But now that we got this draft stuff out of the way, the elephant in the room is what's going to happen with this regime. What's going to happen? Who deserves to stay? Who deserves to go? Is the biggest thing now. And like I've been saying for weeks now, hopefully they don't string us along for a long time. If you're going to keep everybody, please let us know right away. If you're going to fire one and keep the other, please let us know right away. If you're going to fire everybody, please let us know right away, especially me, because I want to know how to move forward. I want to either be mad and then let's move forward, happy, and then let's see who we're going to be searching for to fill these spots. But again, I want to know, hopefully we know something by tomorrow. But the Giants. The Giants will drag us along for a while. They'll drag us along. They'll drag us along for a while, though, for sure, man. My man Joseph says, yes, sir, I like it. I live in Connecticut. My New Englanders didn't lay down. No, that's a fact. That, yeah, they pulled it off. And the funny thing about it, Joe Milton played a heck of a game. I had the screens going. I had 4 games going, and once I'm watching it, Joe Milton played his butt off today. And, Charlie from Maine he's a big fan of Joe Milton. So Charlie from Maine is probably going to be excited about what happened with Joe Milton today, but it is what it is with that. My man James says, if they don't get Sanders or Ward and they get Hunter, how about Dart in the second round? I mean, that's the only other option you have, unless you're talking about McCord or Will Howard if he declares. I mean, that's pretty much it. I don't like Ewers. Ewers fell all the way off of the map for me. I don't like Carson Beck. But Jackson Dart, I'm a fan of Jackson Dart. I'm a fan of McCord. Will Howard, I'm starting to grow on Will Howard too, Pauls. It is what it is. 3 is a perfect spot. Yeah, I see that. What's going on, Clinton Jones? What's going on, bro? John Mays says Malik wasn't on the field the last drive. Yeah, because he got his record. They decided to pull him off. The first play of the game, they gave him an end around, and after that play, he's stretching his hamstring. Like, the risk was not worth it, in my opinion. But again, he's able to leave the game healthy, to a certain extent. So good for him to get that record. He got the rookie record. Fantastic for got the rookie record for receptions, for a rookie wide receiver. So shout out to Malik Neighbors for that record. He got it. Top 3, perfect. Yeah, they're gonna keep both. You said my man Quiz says they're gonna keep both. I don't know, man. I want them to clean house, but like, we can't forget, like, yes, we scored 45 points last week. Yes, the assignment was fulfilled and we got, a top 3 pick, but you forget how we got here. Don't forget how we got here. We got to a top 3 pick because we absolutely sucked. That's how we got here. And somebody, not just Shane Bowen, one of the big dogs, the GM, the head coach, at least one of the big dogs, somebody got to answer for that. Somebody got to answer for it, man. You just can't have a 10-game losing streak. Barely you get 1 home victory. You got swept in the division. We forget about that with this loss today. You can't, all those things can't happen and everybody be safe. I'm sorry. And again, if you think that Shane Bowen is a big enough, person to fall on the sword, absolutely not, in my opinion. Absolutely not. We can't do that. Shane Bowen is not enough. In defense of Shane Bowen, and I said it last night, Shane Bowen told you what he needed to run his defense properly, and we didn't give it to him. That would be my defense for Shane Bowen, but I ain't trying to hear that either. I'm not even trying to hear what I just said myself. Somebody got to go, but Shane Bowen is not the big fish, or is not the pound of flesh that everybody wants. No, pause. We can't do it. Can't do it. My man Mo says they've been speculating on Twitter that they will keep Daves and Shane for another year. I absolutely saw that too. Who was it? Adam Schefter said something like that. Jay Glazer said something like that. And when Jay Glazer says something, it's usually true. But he didn't say definite though. He said leaning. So we'll see what happens. This was another loss to a bunch of second, third, and third stringers. Another division loss. You got swept in the division. I think it's a big enough loss. And the other thing is this: if John Mara was counting on this game to help make his decision, then John Mara's an idiot. This game should have nothing to do with his decision. Like whether we won this game or lost this game, which we still lost, this like the decision should have been made 2 weeks ago, or during that 10 game losing streak. That's when that decision needs to be made, or when you're going into 2024 season, and John Mara said himself, well, we need to see some results, and what are the results that we have? A 3-14 season, even worse than the worst predictions. Like prior to the season starting, nobody, people that didn't even like what the Giants were doing said a 4-win team, and we couldn't even get to 4. It is what it is, man. Somebody got to pay for that, in my opinion. Somebody definitely has to pay. This is the first time I've seen this one. Jixer says John Gruden as head coach. John Gruden been sitting for a while, man. I mean, he is a great, he had or has a great football mind, but he's been out for a while. And when he came back for the Raiders, he didn't do that well. Well, he had a whole bunch of off the field stuff happen that I don't want to talk about. But yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. My man Tony Owen says I sure like picking number 3 better than picking 4. Absolutely, 100%, 100%. Frankly speaking, says Sanders to Neighbors and Hyatt is going to be bananas. Yeah, man. Listen, we're in a spot right now. All the worrying is over. It's over with. We got a top 3 pick. I mean, top 3 is better than top 4, but it wasn't better than picking number 1 overall. So we like I said, we went from the driver's seat to the trunk. At least we're in the back seat now. We're back inside the car, the regular cabin now. Because we was lost in the wilderness for a little bit. But now we got a top 3 pick. Let's see what happens. Now it makes it even more exciting, the offseason portion of it, getting into the Senior Bowl and the Combine and getting to all the draft. Talk about these prospects. We have a top 3 pick. That means every time you see a mock draft scroll on the bottom of the screen when you're watching these sports channels, you're going to see the New York Giants with whoever they say is going to be the number 3 pick. We're going to be pretty much the subject of conversation or the point of conversation, throughout this next, we got 4 months to the draft starts. Yeah. Or to the draft. Yeah. We'll be there. What's going on, man? A lot of people saying we're getting Sanders or Ward or Hunter. Yeah. Yeah. No, it is what it is. I see a Herbalist is hit me with a comment, a Danny Dimes comment. I don't know if he's replying to somebody or he just felt like, shouting out Danny Dimes, but it is what it is. What's going on, Tony? Jay Rich, we getting Sanders Award. That's yeah. Who's that? Julesy Dub says trade Deontay Banks. Listen, there's going to be a lot of options on the table right now, man. There's going to be a lot of options on the table. We'll see what the New York Giants do. There's a couple of guys you can put on the trading block if you need some draft capital, or if, who knows what the New York Giants are trying to do. Maybe they don't feel secure enough at number 3. They might want to move up to 1. But again, I think our dancing partner is gone now. Because not Cleveland. Who is it? Yeah, Cleveland and both Tennessee both need, quarterbacks. In my opinion, they both need quarterbacks. And I don't think they're going to be willing to trade out of that spot. So we still might be in a position where we won't get a quarterback, but at least we'll have, Travis Hunter, or if somebody wants Travis Hunter or wants that number 3 pick, we can trade back for capital. But again, my eye is on the prize. I want one of these quarterbacks for sure. What's going on? Bourbon Cigars Conversation says, let's everybody take a breath, calm down, and think about where we're going to do going forward. What we're going to do going forward? No, I mean, yeah, now you're right. Now we can start talking about plans. The biggest says if anybody needs to go, it's Shane. Yeah. Now, are you talking Shane Bowen, or is that just another spelling for Joe Shane? What Shane we talking about? The biggest pause. Okay, Pem says if both Shane and Dable are kept, Dre Patterson at DC or not. Dre Patterson at DC, I don't know. I was willing to go Dre Patterson, or I think he got interviewed. He actually got interviewed. Him and Jerome Henderson got interviewed before the season started. Before we hired Shane Bowen. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I like Andre Patterson. I like him coaching in that capacity. If he's willing to be a DC, I bet you they probably would interview him. I'm pretty sure they would interview him. I don't know how I feel about that now. It's a little bit too early for that. I need to know if Dable is going to be here first. So like my man Cigar said, I'm gonna pump the brakes for right now, one step at a time. Let's see if Dable and Shane are gonna actually be here. Let's do that. Let's do that before we start talking DC. Like I believe Shane Bowen automatically. It was a given that Shane Bowen is most likely out of the door. For me, he's out of here already. It's more about Brian Dable and Joe Shane to see what's going to happen, with that decision that John Mara has to make. Shane Bowen sucks, no excuses. That's a fact. Listen, I wasn't trying to defend him. I was just saying in his defense because I don't care. I absolutely don't care. What's going on, Hirsch? My man James says Giants put their best team on the field today against Philly's third stringers. Fire everyone. That's a fact. Like Drew Lock, Malik Neighbors, they were Wandale Robinson, Darius Slayton. The line was patchwork. We know that, but yeah, you had all your offensive weapons played. Tracy played. All those guys played, and we couldn't get it done against their third stringers. That just goes to show you what kind of depth that the Philadelphia Eagles have, that they can put out third stringers and still beat the New York Giants when we're playing not necessarily just our starters, because we have guys that are injured, but the same team. We fielded pretty much the same team that beat the Colts last week, and we couldn't do anything to Philadelphia's third stringers. Again, not second stringers, third stringers. They did have a couple of starters out there, but not their key contributors for the most part. Jordan Davis did have a good game though. I will say that. What's going on? Won't Stop Dream Team. Yeah, fire everybody. I see it. I see it. Joseph said, yeah, I like it. We're back inside the vehicle. That's a fact. We got out of the trunk. We're in the back seat now. At least we can see where we're going now. We got our eye on the prize, man. That's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah, right. Rock the Artist, put out the brooms. Let us know. We got swept in the division. Yep. We got swept in the division. We got not just by you. We got swept by everybody in the division. You can't hold that title by yourself. You swept us with Tanner McKee, and Tanner McKee looked pretty good too out there today, cutting up. He was cutting up. He was cutting up Fly. He was cutting up Tay Banks, cutting up Pinnock, cutting up Belton. Yeah, cutting up Andrew Philly. He was cutting up. Yeah, we can't. No excuses. Like who? Like I forgot who just said that. No excuses for sure. No excuses. My man Smokey the Bear says, give me Cam Ward or Sanders. Hopefully, man. Hopefully. My man Omega is in the building going for it. I said, going forward on 4th and 7 tells me Dable's job is safe. I tweeted that same exact thing. What was it? Not the first drive. But yeah, I think it was an opening drive. It was an opening drive. We were on the 50. 4th and 7, and he decided to go for it. We didn't get it. I said, you know what? That call right there is a confidence of a man that is safe. And I thought that too. I thought that at the time. Right now, I'm just hoping that we clean house. I hope John Mara. It's all well, it's Steve Tisch too, but John Mara, good Lord, man. Somebody got to go, man. Somebody got to go. For real. It's crazy. Q Cox, what's going on, brother? Good luck to you tonight, man. Good luck to you tonight. Actually, I'm sorry, I can't even tell you good luck. Well, I need to know if did the Jaguars end up winning? Before I say this to Q Cox, did the Jaguars end up winning today? Somebody let me know, because that game was still on when I jumped in here. Who was it? We need the Jaguars to win. Yeah, I forgot that fast who all we needed to win. It was the Jaguars. I know we needed the Detroit Lions to win. But anyway, forget that. Q Cox, good luck to you tonight against the Detroit Lions, man. It should be a fantastic game. Highly competitive. I hope so. Q says, remember, you're going to be feeling so good come draft time. That's a fact. I feel good right now. Just locking in the top 3 pick. But no, you're absolutely right. Thunder says, only way Shane Bowen stays is if we hire Vrabel as a head coach. Vrabel's most likely, if Gerard Mayo gets fired in New England, which I don't think that should happen, you might see Vrabel in New England. You might see that happen because right now you're hearing rumblings about Gerard Mayo not being safe and possibly being on the way out, and that's just crazy to me. He just got his rookie quarterback. You know, look at the way Bill Belichick left that team. You know, they won 4 games. I think he deserves another year. But you know, if they have somebody that they feel is going to be a better option or can get this team turned around quicker, like a Mike Vrabel, I understand. I understand. Still not fair to Gerard Mayo, though, in my opinion. But we'll see what happens with that. Quiz says trade for Kyle Shanahan and bring Robert Saleh as a defensive coordinator. Now we're talking about big dreams. We love Kyle Shanahan. We love Robert Saleh as a DC. But that's a big if. That's a big wish, I should say. Hopefully you're rubbing a genie, man, right now. You can make that wish because I don't know if that happens. Eric Johnson says 3 is a magic number. My man James Williams is in the building. What's going on, James? He says, salute, King. You already know. Kayvon going to brag about his sack against the bench. Yeah, and he also, well, if it wasn't for Kayvon, the Giants probably got a chance to get the ball back. You know, the roughing the passer at the end. He did that. And I appreciate you too, James, letting everybody know. Hit that like button. Please hit that like button on the way in. Or, you know, go ahead and click out of the comment section and hit that like button. Do me a favor. Let the algorithm know that we in the building. Please. Please do me that favor. Do me that favor. Rick Torture, what's going on, Rick Torture? He says, be better next year, troop. I hope so. I hope we are better next year. We should be better next year. And it's, especially if we plan on keeping one of these guys in a 4th year, there's already no excuses. There's already no excuses. We need to be better next year, no matter what happens. You can't have a guy here for 4 years and not have, you know, some solid results. Because right now we're 3 years in and we don't have the results that we're looking for. If we keep Joe Shane, if we keep Brian Dable, there's no relax. They can't be relaxed going into, you know, next season. They're going to be automatically put on the hot seat come free agency period, come March. They're already going to be on the hot seat. Why would you want these guys operating like that when they actually really have to do a reset? What regime gets a reset 3 years in without being fired? That's yeah, man. I mean, yeah, it is what it is. My man Sleazy said we had backups in 2. He's dead, guys. We literally just signed in the last 3 weeks. And why did we have to sign these guys in the last 3 weeks? Because we have no depth. And what's the reason why we don't have any depth? Because of who we have buying the groceries. That we got to go ahead and get guys off of the streets. Like you said, we literally had to sign people the last 3 weeks. Why do we have to do that? Because we don't have depth. That's another shot. I mean, you might have been coming in here trying to defend it. That's still a shot because everybody deals with injuries. And a lot of people just pull people from the practice squad and they don't skip a beat. Or they already have good enough players backing up their starters and they don't miss a beat. Not the New York Giants, though. Not the Giants. Jixer says Mara needs to apologize with Brian Flores and give him the head coaching job. I've heard somebody else say that too. 450 Red Zone says, watching you live here in New Jersey. Both coach and GM are safe now. That's what they said. Shout out to my people in Jersey, though. That's what they said. Somebody let me know if that happened. I'll end the live right now if that happens. I'll go cry in the corner somewhere if we got the news that fast that they're both safe. Oh, my gosh. I hope you're lying. 450. I hope you're lying, brother. Let's go get Fields. I don't know about that. Joseph says Philly's still only looking at the lonely 1 trophy. They will not go to the soup this year. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. Again, if you walk past too fast, you'll miss their trophy. If you walk past their case too fast, you'll miss it. You can't miss the Giants 4 Super Bowls, but you can definitely walk right past Philly's lonely 1 Super Bowl. Oh, man. Bourbon Cigars Conversation says, you're right, Dash. Thanks to some miscues by the defense, which I think they might have did on purpose. The Giants were going to try to win that game. I think they were trying to win regardless. Once they got within striking distance, you saw the play calling change. You saw some shots downfield. Dable was trying to win this game. I really do believe that. Like I said, I was arguing with people, today about that too. So I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. Shout out to my man C Barkley 808 with the 499 super chat. He says, I don't know about you, but the last throw to Hyde that was a pick almost gave me a heart attack. It's crazy to root for losses. But how can we get our identity back? We need to hire a coach with an identity first. That's the best thing I can say to you. Is we have to hire a coach with the identity, and then that the team has to take on the identity of the coach. Situation. Detroit Lions. Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell came in there talking about biting kneecaps off. Everybody laughed at him, and now everybody on Detroit, they bite kneecaps off. They took on the personality of, or the identity of, their head coach, and we need to find out, who that coach is going to be, and then take on that identity. Shout out to Jay Ferris with the $5 super chat. It says Giants gave me a heart attack today. Eagles may be trolling. Three pick behind QB needy team. Yeah, third pick behind QB needy teams. I feel okay. How you feel, Dash? I said that in the opening, man. We still have a slim chance to get to the number 2 pick. Again, it's some teams that we need to win. Jaguars was one of those teams. I don't know if they won the game yet. Somebody let me know that. But at the end of the day, it's a top 3 pick. We're not in the driver's seat. We still have to figure out what's going to happen. But we're in the mercy of what the Cleveland Browns do and what the Titans do. That's where we're at right now. And both, like you said, both of those are QB needy teams for sure. All right, let's see. Philly took a dive and it didn't work. The Jags lost. Well, there it is. There it is. So we're picking 3. It's over. The Jags lost. So we're picking 3. So we got it. We got the top 3 pick. We know where we're at right now. And my man Q, good luck to your Minnesota Vikings tonight. Colts won in OT 26-23. Thank you very much. Thank you for letting me know. There it is. There it is. What's going on, Tanya? Quiz says, Dash, what do you think about trading Kayvon Thibodeaux? I think everything's on the table. Do we plan on picking up Kayvon Thibodeaux's 5th-year option? Has he done enough to be a part of the future plans? You ask yourself those questions, and then you'll have an answer whether or not it's a good idea to trade Kayvon Thibodeaux. I will say this, though. And if you're going to trade Kayvon Thibodeaux, you're most likely losing Aziz as well. If you lose him, you're going to have to fill another hole. So it's a lot to think about, but I'm not taking too many people off of the table when it comes to making this team better. And right now, Kayvon Thibodeaux does just enough for you to still like him, but he is not who we thought he was. At least not yet. The 5th overall pick. When I'm looking at people in the same draft like Hutchinson, undeniably being shut down type of defensive guys. So it is what it is. 450 Red Zone says Giants picking a black quarterback. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It might happen. It might not. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I know that the top 2 quarterbacks just happen to be black. So if you're looking for one of those top 2 quarterbacks, then you might have to. You might be picking a black quarterback. Again, give me somebody good. Give me the top quarterback, man. Believe in whoever you're picking for sure, but give me the top quarterback, man. NYG Frank 87 says, "Hey, Big Dash, God bless you. What draft position do the Giants currently have? We have 3, brother. We have 3, right? And it's pretty much a lock right now with the Jaguars losing. So it doesn't matter what other teams were doing anything. We needed a bunch of people to win to strengthen to weaken our strength of schedule for the tiebreaker. But we didn't get it. We needed a couple other people, unless I'm wrong, man. But I believe that was the scenario. It was like 4 teams needed to win in order for us to creep into that number 2 spot. But I'll leave that to Google, and we can search that up at another time. My man Clinton Jones says, "How are you doing, Dad?" I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing all right. I'm happy with having a top 3 pick. I'm doing okay. I'm mad at the season. I'm anxious to see what happens with the court, with the regime. But overall, right now, I feel good about the top 3 pick, and that's all I can worry about right now. But I do have a little bit of anxiety now with John Mara, and hopefully Steve Tisch is already um, in the building talking to John Mara to see if we can get this thing right, because it seems like things shake once Steve Tisch takes that flight from the West Coast to East Rutherford, and then some decisions get made after that, because right now everybody knows that John Mara does not want to shake things up to a certain extent. But we'll see what happens. If Steve Tisch comes in and says, you know what, John, you're being an idiot. Get these guys out of here. We're the New York Football Giants. This was a 100th-year anniversary, and we looked horrible the entire year. We need to do better. Hopefully, John Mara listens to him. 100 years, man. You see the book. Shout out to my wife. She, as a Christmas gift, got me the 100 Seasons book. Fantastic book, too. Like a yearbook. Good quality. 100 seasons, though. 100. And this is what we did. Barely got a win for the home crowd this entire season. Averaging under 10 points at some part of the season. No, man. No, I'm sorry. It's not good enough. Not good. We've been around for too long to be this bad. Absolutely. Somebody got to step in and make a change. My man King D says, fix the team as much as possible. Get a top cornerback. Get a top D tackle. Get a real pass rusher. And then, and when it's time to drive Archie, everything's ready. Listen, you know how hard it is to do that. Like in all honesty, if you build this team up to what you're saying, if you get a top cornerback, if you get a top D tackle, if you get a real pass rusher, when you do all the Giants are not going to lose enough games for you to be in a position to get Arch Manning. For the people that think Arch Manning is going number one, I haven't seen Arch Manning play an entire season yet. I don't know what he looks like as a starter. I saw him play Texas, Austin, PYU, whatever team that was he played, and he did a fantastic job. And then every other time I saw him, he was running the ball. They had him doing options. So if we believe, and I do believe that Arch Manning is going to be good, but as far as stats, I don't have that same type of faith, and I also don't have that same type of time. But again, if we're building up the team and everything else is ready to go, we're not going to have enough losses to be in a position to get Arch Manning. I mean, that's just my opinion, but it is what it is. And also, you're talking about 2027, not even 2026, and 2025 just got here. You know what I mean? That's come on now. Come on now. My man Giants guy says Giants needs to get Neighbors some help. Yeah, first off, get him a quarterback, get an offensive line, get some depth behind that offensive line, get a competent play caller that can scheme up his weapons. That's what you can do. That's what you can do. That's what Neighbors needs. Complementary football. Solid quarterback play consistently, not just for one game, not a flash game, and then everybody else falls and drinks the Drew Lock Kool-Aid. I gotta let me stop, because there's some Drew Lock lovers out there that are at my head right now, and I would like to leave that alone. Leave that alone, man. Shout out to my man Joseph with the $2 super chat. He says, hit that like button, people. Give me some love, man. Show me some support, man. I appreciate y'all. Thank you, Joseph. Hit that like button. Again, all you got to do is take a second, close out of the comments, hit the like button, and it's done. It's free. Go ahead and do that. Appreciate you, Joe. I appreciate you. Jaguars lost. Everybody let me know the Jags lost. Let me get back. You guys are flying in these comments, man. Said my man Baghdad said, what the Browns gonna do about Watson? Maybe we get our QB at 3. That's a fact. There's some people that I've been going back and forth with too that don't believe the Browns are going to take a quarterback. And listen, if that's true, fantastic. I hope they don't. They do have to figure out that Watson situation though. I think you'll know. It depends on what kind of moves, because they did restructure his contract to give them some cap relief. So you don't do that unless you're keeping him. So they're most likely keeping Watson, but he just had what was it? What was his injury? I forget what his injury was. Achilles? It was Achilles this time, right? I think it was the Achilles. How long is that going to take to heal? I think whatever happens with Jameis Winston, then you probably get an idea of what the Browns are going to do. If they don't try to sign Jameis Winston, or they let him walk or go somewhere else, then I'm leaning towards them probably drafting a quarterback. because DTR not it. Who else was the guy back there? Because Jameis Winston didn't play. Is Dorian Thompson, uh, Robinson, and then they have another quarterback. I can't remember who the quarterback is now. So if they don't take Jameis Winston, I mean, if they don't re-sign Jameis Winston, then I'm leaning more like they're probably going to get a quarterback. We'll see what happens though. But I hope they take your philosophy and try to keep watching and see what they have and pass on the quarterback. That's what I would like to happen for them. Khalid says Malik wants Sanders and Sanders wants the Giants. We know this. We know this. Stop making it hard. Sanders to the Giants. Listen, it makes sense to me. It makes too much sense. Absolutely too much sense. Trey Block says Sanders, Tracy, Leak, T. Higgins, Wandell, and Theo next year. Sign me up. I like what you're saying. T. Higgins, are you willing to pay T. Higgins $22, $23, $24 million? I don't know. I like to see what we have first, but that's a lot of money, especially when you don't know what kind of quarterback play you're going to get. I mean, obviously, if we get Sanders, then that's one thing. But just thinking about Leak and knowing how much he wants the ball, and do you know how much T. Higgins wants the ball? Who's going to be the wide receiver one in that situation? You know, you might cause some issues if you try to bring in somebody like T. Higgins. That's a big personality. We already have Malik. We're trying to figure out what Malik can do. I think we need a sidekick to Malik. We don't need a Batman Superman situation, I think. But again, the better the talent, the more the talent, the better, I should say. My man Jay Ferris says we likely take Sanders or Ward at 3. If not, there best player available, no trade up. I feel you. I don't want to give up draft capital either. I don't. Patrick Grove says hire Brandon Brown. He was Howie Roseman's understudy. Howie is filthy and gets away with it. That's a fact. He does. A lot of those contracts with the backloaded contracts and stuff like that, Howie Roseman does make it happen. One thing, I hate the Philadelphia Eagles. I hate Howie Roseman, but I have to respect Howie Roseman as well because he's doing a good job over there. I can't deny that, but, you know, it's still F Philly at the end of the day. I don't like Philly. Real Cold G says, stop with this Arch Manning stuff. We suck now. We can't wait for Arch. That's where I'm at, man. That's where I'm at. Now, if we get to 2027, and this is the one thing I say to that, and that I believe that was that D Good that was saying that. The one thing is this: right now, I can't worry about Arch Manning in 2027. I will say this though: the New York Giants do need a quarterback now. Now, if we draft a quarterback now, we go 2 years and that quarterback doesn't work out, you're right back in the mix for Arch Manning. So we can table the Arch Manning discussion for right now. I need a quarterback right now, and I need that quarterback to be good. We don't have to worry about Arch Manning. Arch Manning has to worry about taking Texas to the national championship in 25 and 20. He can't. Arch Manning ain't worried about the Giants right now, but the Giants fan base seem to be really worried about Arch Manning. It is what it is. I know his last name is Manning, and we had a Manning in here, but so did the Colts. So did the Denver Broncos. They both had Peyton Manning. They might have a claim on him as well. And then the Saints had the grandfather. He was a Manning too. They have a claim on him too. Then if we're doing that. My man Dope Dad says, hey, Big Dash, I hope tomorrow is like Christmas and a clean house. I'm with you. What do you mean by that, Clint Jones? Nice to meet Dash. What you mean? Nice to meet. You've been around for a while. This ain't your first rodeo. That's a fact, King D. Yeah, because Jared, I don't know what's gonna happen with Jared Mayo. My man Dwayne Murphy is in the building, says QB by any means necessary. I agree with you. I got a question for Joseph. Joseph said, what was the worst season? Joseph, 73-74, this 2024 team. And you've answered that before. I'm gonna let my man Joseph answer that question for you. He was around for those seasons, so he can give you a better answer than I can. I was born in 83. It is what it is. It is what it is. T. Higgins said he'll take less money to stay with the Bengals. I agree. They got a good thing going over there. They didn't have as far as the wins column, they didn't have all the wins that they wanted. Right now, they're fighting. I think they need Denver to lose in order for them to make the playoffs. But they got a good thing going. If he'll take less money to play with Jamar and to play with Joe Burrow, good for him. You don't get too many, especially guys that play wide receivers that'll do something like that. So if that's the case, then good for him. Good for T. Higgins. Let's see. What's going on, Sydney? Sydney says Fire Dable. Short and sweet. Fire Dable. That's it. Dope Des says, Big Dash, we need to draft defense. Let's be monsters of the East. I do agree with you. Now, I like Mason Graham. I like Travis Hunter. You know, I like Abdul Carter. Those are some of the names. I do think we need to draft heavy defense, but I do think when we're focused on defense, we need to focus on the trenches first. And there's a lot of defensive tackles that are going to be around in that first round and that second round that would, fill a need that the New York Giants have for sure. But I do believe in building the defense. But the draft is how many picks? I believe right now we have 9 picks in the draft. We can take one of them to get a quarterback. we can use the first one to get a quarterback, and then we can focus on defense. Or I think we also need some offensive line help for sure too. For sure. King D says they will not. The owner wants to keep the GM, so I can see both of them staying. Again, that's the one thing that's giving me anxiety right now. I was trying to figure out exactly, what's going to happen there. I just want to know how to move on properly. That's my main thing. I want to be able to move on properly, and just know what this team is going to look like. If I need to start looking at coaching candidates, GM candidates, or coordinators, because I believe you will, if they keep both Shane and Brian Dable, you're most likely looking at a new offensive coordinator. You're probably going to take the play calling away from Brian Dable so he can focus more on the entire team, and you're getting Shane Bowen out of here. I would love to go back to a 4-3, but I don't think we got the horses for the 4-3 right now. But we'll see what happens. We're still in wait and see mode. Like, the draft is set now. The draft is set. It's all about what this regime is going to look like, and then we can start talking about free agency and these draft prospects. Because I will be in heavy rotation when it comes to talking about prospects and talking about free agency in the upcoming months for sure. For sure. The Giant season is over, but the channel does not stop. We're going to roll right into talking college football and college players and free agency, soon. I will say that soon. My man Joseph Wilcox had the answer for you. He said 1965 through 66 was 1-12 and 1. 1970 was 2-12. So there's some of your answers about some of those horrible seasons. Shout out to my man Joseph coming through with the facts and the stats. Appreciate you, Joe. DC. Unfortunately, they're safe. Somebody, that's the second person that said it, man. Is that you're gonna make me stop and open up Google to see if something was mentioned or something was, said about both of these guys absolutely being safe, man. I don't want to mess with my bandwidth right now, though. My man John Davis said, after addressing the quarterback, build up the trenches on offense and defense. That's true. That's very true. Hold on, we go. Cloud Data Media. What's going on, Cloud? He says, this Travis ish got to stop. If Cam and Sanders is on the board, we've seen bad quarterback play for far too long. Now is what everything. Now is I want everything else but a quarterback. Week. He's saying now everybody wants everything but a quarterback. That's a fact, man. We got to stop it. We got to stop it right now. Like, quarterback play is the most important. Like, we were the same bad team today, but last week we got good quarterback play from Drew Lock. It was a fluke, but we got good quarterback play and we saw what it looked like. So imagine that on a consistent basis. That's what we're talking about here. That's what we're talking about. What's going on, Brady? First time seeing this PFP. Hopefully you're having a good time. He said, if Ward and Sanders are gone, do you take Hunter? At 3, it's almost a given. For me, in all honesty, if I'm being absolutely honest with you, I think the trenches are more important than the secondary right now. So if I'm stuck in that position and I have Travis Hunter there and Mason Graham, and listen, this is I'm saying this, it's January 5th. I'm saying this on January 5th. I would probably go with Mason Graham over Travis Hunter right now for the needs for the Giants. I'm tired of seeing teams being able to run the ball on us whenever they feel like it, and especially when Dexter Lawrence is off the field, you get a guy like Mason Graham that helps solidify the trenches, and that's the most important part of your football team is the trenches outside of quarterback, of course. My man TD Midas said we should heavily pursue DJ Reed. He's a target. He's definitely on my short list for sure, as far as secondary goes. Yep. Jules Z Dub says Jackson Dart or Jalen Milroe in the mid rounds and take Hunter at 3. Listen, right now, I would rather take Jackson Dart over Jalen Milroe for a couple of reasons. Jalen Milroe has a very, very, very high ceiling. I don't know where his floor is, though. I don't know if we got the right coaches to be able to coach him up. A lot of people like to compare him to Jalen Hurts, put him in that same type of category. And yes, Jalen Hurts would be the ceiling for me for Jalen Milroe. Actually, even better because Milroe was 6'4", 230 pounds, and runs a 4.3 40. Like you can't deny certain things, but to me, yeah. I would rather take a more complete quarterback than Jalen Milroe right now, depending on what type of offense we're having. Now, if we keep Brian Dable, Jalen Milroe probably fits a Brian Dable type of system, but I don't know if Brian Dable's going to be here. Shout out to Sydney. Sydney, thank you so much with the $10 super chat. She said, I have to have Dable gone. I can't watch this team anymore until he is gone. You're a real trooper watching and doing all of this. I stopped watching weeks ago. I couldn't take it, Dash. We need to stop the bleeding. That's a fact. And you did say that too. You said you were going to stop watching and you held up to it. Listen, that's what this regime is doing to us. It's taking long time Giants fans. They're just saying, you know what? I can't even turn my TV on to watch these games anymore. And that part sucks. It does. Cloud Data Media says Daves and Joe definitely safe. You keep saying that. Was it an article? Did John Mara say that they're absolutely safe? I saw what Jay Glazer said. Yeah, hold on a second. Like I said, you're gonna make me look this up. You're gonna make me look this up. Yeah, we don't have it. Yeah, it's not solidified yet. They have one quote from Brian Dable about his future. He just said, "You do the best job you can." So he doesn't even know yet. You're scaring me, man. You're scaring. Like as bad as I want to know, that's not the news I want to know for sure. Milroe will be like Anthony Richardson. Which Anthony Richardson? Like Anthony Richardson with the Colts? Because I don't want that Anthony Richardson. But you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right with the comparison. And the funny thing is, I actually like Milroe more than Anthony Richardson because he just played more college ball than Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson was he had 1 full year starting, I think, before he got drafted. Yeah, man, you can't keep making the same mistakes. At least Milroe had 2 years of starting, before he entered the draft. But it is what it is. I believe it's Lesmez Romero. Dart trash, Milroe trash. Seth Hannigan is far better than both of them. I heard somebody was saying that name yesterday. Seth, what college is that? Where did he play? Seth Hannigan. I got to look him up. Listen, everybody's opinion. I see opinions. You got to say my opinion. Dable staying. We drafted Hunter at 3 and drafted Milroe in the 2nd round. Yeah. If we do that, we'll be right back here next year with a top 5 pick. If we do that, if we do that, we might be right back here talking about Drew Allar and Garrett Nussmeier and what's the Klubnik from Clemson. We'd be right back here. Oh man, because Milroe's not a day 1 starter in my opinion. It's not too many day 1 starters. Sanders, I do believe Sanders is a day 1 starter. I do believe Cam Ward will be pushed to be a day 1 starter. But when it comes to processing, reading defenses, I have Sanders above Ward, but Ward is just an improviser and a wild play guy. So it kind of balances itself out a little bit. Cloud said, "Is not enough smoke around these guys." Dash. They keep putting feelers out there. They do keep putting feelers out there. You're absolutely right. They do. The beat writers doing their job. They're putting out all of these feelers, trying to see what people are saying. And every time I see one of those posts on Twitter, I make sure I comment. I'm in the comment section like, "Are you crazy? What are you doing? These guys need to go. I'm over here fighting for the New York Giants." While the beat writers are fighting for Joe Shane and fighting for Brian Dable, I'm over here fighting for the New York Giants, because at the end of the day, I don't care about players. I don't care about the coaches. I don't care about the GMs. I care about the New York Giants. I've been a Giants fan longer than some of these guys have been coaching. I can't, a long time. And I'm gonna keep being a Giants fan. So after Brian Dable is gone, after Joe Shane is gone, guess who's still gonna be here with the Giants? Me and a lot of you guys as well. So I can't just be attached to certain players, certain coaches, and certain GMs when I feel as strongly as I feel about what I'm seeing on the field every week. And I'm not liking what I'm seeing, and that's why I'm voicing my opinion the way I'm doing it. And trust me, because I'm this way right now. You guys remember, I started this channel in 2022, right when we got these guys hired, and I was sitting here like, you know what? It has to be better than Joe Judge. We had that 2022 season. I drank the Giants Kool-Aid. I was over here going crazy about Brian Dable and Joe Shane and the job that these guys were doing and the healthy contracts that they were given. This I didn't just flip the switch and turn around and do an about face. No, you guys remember the 2023 season. I'm sitting here fighting for half that season. Not half that season. Week 5, I was done. But you know what? It's not like I created this channel just to bash the Giants. No, absolutely not. I came here to talk about the team that I love and share my opinion. And guess what? Opinions do. They change. Only dummies decide to stay in one place if they're presented with new information. I was presented with new information, and now I feel the way that I feel right now. Hopefully everybody feels the same freedom to be able to say, you know what? Yes, I said this, but you know what? Given this new information, I changed my mind about this too. That's growth, man. That's maturity. Some people don't do that, man. Some people that say something that, make a point that they made 2 years ago, get hit with a lot of new information and decide, you know what? Because I said this, I'm going to keep on saying the same thing. No, I can't respect that, man. Things change, situations change, and opinions do as well. Hopefully you guys respect that with me. I try to keep it as real as possible. Armand Smith says, yes, the Colts, we only need to worry about Sanders or Ward at quarterback. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Terrence Payne says, why do people keep saying we have the 3rd pick? We have the 2nd pick unless the NFL standings are wrong. It's about strength of schedule. So right now we have some teams that didn't play yet. So if they because who's that? Is some teams that didn't play yet. So we'll see what happens. But it's about the strength of schedule. The NFL on NFL.com, they do not put strength of schedule in there yet. Tankathon and I've had this conversation before because I've seen NFL be different from Tankathon. Tankathon is going off of the strength of schedule. In all cases, NFL Network does not. I'm sorry, NFL.com does not. But we'll find out for sure tomorrow. For sure. All the games will be played today. We'll find out for sure tomorrow. Again, we have 2 different databases that we're looking at. Hopefully, I hope you're right, Terrence or Terrence. I hope that you're absolutely right. Sidney says, shout out to Malik Neighbors, 1,000-yard season, player of the year for us. I think so. And he missed 2 games. He got 1,000 yards with bad quarterback play. So imagine what he can do with good quarterback play and better scheming. Brian Dable finally decided to get him the ball in space, and we saw what he can do with it. Yards after the catch. Everybody has been screaming that all season. He's a yak guy, and he wasn't in a position to get yak before. He was catching the ball and falling right down, or catching the ball and getting knocked down. It is what it is. It is what it is. James says, I would love to acquire Fields as a bridge and draft either Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward. I would, for me, James, I would rather have Jameis as a bridge than Fields, because Fields is still in that stage of his career where he still feels like he can be the guy. He knows that he's not going to be. He hasn't, I guess, realized that actually, I can't even say that. He's still trying to figure things out. He still thinks he can be a guy for a franchise. A guy like Jameis Winston, he knows from jump what his role is supposed to be. He knows that he's going to be a bridge. He's there to mentor whoever the young guy is going to be. I would rather have a guy like that than a guy like Fields that's really trying to be the starter still. And I think he stays with Pittsburgh ultimately too. Smokey the Bear says, I don't see what others see in Jackson Dart, bro. Can't read defenses. In my opinion, I've seen him play. He's not worth a top 3 pick, not a chance. And I wouldn't take him in the second round either. Third round for sure. That's why I have him. Third round, fourth round. If I can get him in the third or fourth, because I missed out on somebody, absolutely. There's two, like the defensive tackles, the offensive tackles, and the cornerbacks are still so good in the second round. And some of those might fall into the third round that I can't even think about Jackson Dart to day 3. I'm sorry, to like the third or fourth round, in my opinion. But it's the same thing that you're saying. He did not play in a pro style offense. He does not read defenses because they don't ask him to read defenses at Ole Miss. So when we see these fantastic numbers, you have to put a little curve on that because of the type of scheme he's running. But that's a conversation for another time. Some people just see that he's having a fantastic year, and the numbers are what the numbers are. It is what it is, though. Chill Mode T says the schedule next year is, yeah, I know, it's brutal. We may find ourselves in the same spot. No, you're absolutely right. It's brutal. It's a brutal schedule. I did see the opponents. Conservative guy, no way should Dable stay. I'm with you. And that's coming from a conservative guy. No way. Tony Touch says, if everyone don't see the greatness Hunter is setting up to be, barring injuries, he will play both wide receiver and cornerback. He can be great. He can be great. A wide receiver is a complimentary piece, not the star of the show. We have Malik Neighbors. No matter how good Malik Neighbors is, if you don't have a quarterback, you see what's happening. Look around the league. You need Tyreek Hill with the Miami Dolphins. They didn't get steady quarterback play as good as he is. What does it do? It's just a nice piece to have. When we had Odell Beckham for all those years, we thought he was going to be a gold jacket. What did it turn into? We got one playoff run with him. So I understand that these guys are going to be great players, but in the big scheme of things, at the end of the day, you still need good quarterback play in order to take this team to the next level, or to actually get this team to a respectable level. I will say that. But to your point, Travis Hunter is great. You're absolutely right. He is great. There's a lot of great players out there. Just think about when they talk about the quarterbacks. When they talk about the quarterbacks, a lot of the quarterbacks, even last year, when you do like the regular rankings, you rarely see the quarterback at the top of the rankings. It's just the most important position. So even though you have guys like Travis Hunter is a number 1 player in the draft, but it's not a guarantee that he'll go number 1. Why? Because you have positional value. Shout out to my man Dope Dez with the $5 super chat. He says, Big Dash not trying to defend Daryl Shane, but he really believed in Brian's ability to fix a quarterback. We all did. Like I'm guilty of it. A lot of people are guilty of it. That's one of the reasons why we were happy when we got here. We saw what he did with Josh Allen, and we're like, you know what? He can fix Daniel Jones. And then we had that season. They simplified the offense. Daniel Jones, even though the stats didn't say it, he had a good season. He led the team to the playoffs. A lot of people give credit to Saquon Barkley, him too, but he led the team to the playoffs and to a playoff victory. I drank that Kool-Aid too. Brian Dable fixed Daniel Jones is what a lot of people were saying. But we saw that it was fool's gold at the end of the day. But no, I absolutely, you're absolutely right. And you don't have to even have to say that. I'm trying not to defend Joe Shane. It is what it is. A lot of people felt the same way about Brian Dable when he got here. You figure when that happened, a lot of people were happy with the Joe Shane hire because he was a guy that wasn't a part of the New York Giants. They had success in Buffalo. He brought Brian Dable. Brian Dable was a hot name, kind of like the way that like Ben Johnson now for the Detroit Lions. Brian Dable was a hot name when we got him. So nobody was mad at it. It was between Brian Dable and Brian Flores at the end. But, Joe Shane brought his guy. And like I said, I believe you. A lot of people thought the same thing. Chill Mo says, I would love it. We could sign DJ Reed and Travarius Ward. Show up the secondary, sign me up. There's certain positions that I would absolutely buy in this offseason. Like I would love to buy the defensive line. I would love to bring BJ Hill back to New York. There's some other defensive tackles that I would buy to bring them back here. and draft the offensive line. But yeah, the secondary is an option too. We can buy some cornerbacks for sure. But how much money do you really want to spend? That's the big question. I forgot my water. Shout out to Miss E. Miss E, QB is the heart of the team. It can make or break it. That's a fact. My man Cloud Data says, question, are y'all saying draft Hunter at 3 because Cam and Sanders are gone? Yes, draft Travis and trade back up into the first to draft Jack. You don't have to trade up into the first for Jackson Dart. He's not like you. Listen, he would need to have the best combine, Senior Bowl, pro day, and just the best PR campaign for him to get all the way up into the first. Like, a lot of people, they saw him for the first time. I'm not saying that you did. A lot of people saw Jackson Dart for the first time in that bowl game, and they went nuts. Jackson Dart has been doing that all year. And there's a reason why he wasn't mentioned. When he's been putting up crazy numbers, if you look at, he's been in college for 5 seasons. He's been putting up crazy numbers for a long time, but he still was not talked about, in the same way as Ward and Sanders. Not even Beck, not even Ewers. Because remember, Ewers was a hot name going into this season. Ewers, Beck, and Shedeur Sanders. Cam Ward wasn't even talked about the way he's talked about right now back in August. And for people that say, oh, Jackson Dart, you had to really be watching these Ole Miss games for years now to even know who Jackson Dart was. He's a hot name right now. But he's been putting up these numbers for a while. But there's a reason why he wasn't, talked about. King D, directions to Sanders. They said directions to Sanders can't read pre-snap defenses. He lacked decision making after the snap. I don't agree at all. It is what it is. I don't agree with that. The difference with Ward, he holds the ball looking for a big play. Sanders holds the ball because he don't know what to do with it. Yeah, again, I don't agree with it. I don't agree. Yeah, I don't. Joseph Santiago, everyone stays plus Cam Ward. Wow. I mean, if everyone stays and we get a quarterback, okay, we'll just hope for the best then. Because at the end of the day, I'm a Giants fan. So if we keep everyone and we get whoever we get, I'm going to root for the New York Giants until they've proven that, we suck again. So it is what it is. Right now, while I have a voice, and right now, while, things have not happened yet, I'm going to voice my opinion and what I want, to see. It is what it is. And what? Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. You know what I mean? Whether who cares? If I agree with you, if I disagree with you, and that's on anything, who cares? I'm just a guy on YouTube. You know what I mean? So if you feel like I've been arguing with actual scouts on Twitter about certain things that I've said, certain opinions that I have. I don't care who you are. I sit here and put my time in it and watch these games and watch these players. I don't watch highlights. I watch full games. So if I don't agree with somebody because they get paid to do something, I don't care. Good for you. Good for you. You get paid to watch, or to scout 2,000 players. I don't scout 2,000 players. I watch who I want to watch. I'm not assigned to watch 1,000 people, so I can watch whoever I want. See. Quiz 2 Swift says, I'm spinning the bag on Trey Smith. I'm tired of this O-line. Trey Smith is not going anywhere. Kansas City is not letting them go. They're not paying anybody right now. Outside of who? Outside of Mahomes, and that money's already spent. Travis Kelce is almost on his way out. Possibly. We'll see what happens. He was already talking about retiring 2 years ago. He's still playing though. Trey Smith is not going anywhere. They're not really paying anybody on that team. They can afford to pay Trey Smith. He's the best offensive lineman on that squad. But we also have seen, well, you know what? I take that back a little bit because we saw them pretty much flip our entire offensive line and still go back to the Super Bowl. But I think Trey Smith is high on their priority list. And again, he's a guard, so it's guards are getting a lot more money than they used to. But I think they can pay Trey Smith. I think they can afford to do that. But will the Giants, we talk about spending this money on Trey Smith? We definitely need a quarterback if we're going to spend this kind of money on the offensive line. because we spent money on this offensive line this year, and we didn't get the results because of bad quarterback play. But yeah, if you want to spend that kind of money on offensive line, you better have a quarterback. Joseph Santiago says you can tell by Brian Dable's demeanor that he knows he's coming back. Yeah, I mean we'll find out, man. I'm gonna watch the presser after this. After I get off here, I'm gonna watch the presser and try to read his body language. I'm gonna try to do that. All right, let's see. G Mafi. We need to build the trenches. I don't care who the quarterback is. If we need to protect whoever is back there, that's a fact. That's a fact. And I hope people understand, like, when I'm pushing for a quarterback, that I do understand that there's a lot of holes to it. It's not just a quarterback and everything else is fixed. I'm not saying that at all. King D says you can simply just watch the BYU game. Yeah, you can watch the BYU game. And then you can also watch every game from Jackson State moving forward too. There's certain things that you can see, like you can see him go through pre-snap. What was it? Pat Shermer told you he has full the full playbook. He can change plays at the line. He calls out the coverages. You see it. You can see him pointing out the coverages. That's reading the defense pre-snap. Like we can talk about the BYU was the best defense that they played this season. I believe BYU had a top 17 defense. It is. I mean, it is what it is. But again, you watch the BYU game. You can watch the Oregon game. You can watch the Oregon game from last year. You know, you can watch the Nebraska game. You can watch the Nebraska game from last year. You can watch a lot of games. For every game you have, there's a game with him doing good. Like, it is what it is. And again, when it comes to playing good competition, we've seen quarterbacks that played in certain conferences that were horrible with bad competition and still play well in the NFL. So it is what it is. Like, people are actually hanging their hat on that BYU game. And I will say this, for the people that are hanging their hats on that BYU game, just remember last year, there was a quarterback named Michael Penix, right? He was a top prospect. He played the Michigan Wolverines, right? One of the best defenses in the league. And what happened? A lot of people said he got exposed, but did you see Michael Penix today? In a game with everything on the line, did you see the type of stuff he was doing on the field? Yeah. Don't just let one game fool you. That's the only thing I can say to you. Cloud Data Media, self-love, Milroe is a running back, respectfully. Good Lord. Let's not disrespect the man like that. Oh man, we can get Becton from the pigeons. Oh boy. Now you'd be surprised. A lot of people don't. Like, you probably watch full games. I believe that you watch full games, but everybody doesn't. Some people aren't even up late enough to watch those Colorado games. Well, last year, I will say this. Last year, Colorado was playing late. A lot of people already sleep on the East Coast. This year, they got a lot of their schedule was a reasonable hour, and a lot of people saw a lot more Colorado games. But I remember going into the season, a lot of people still saying that Colorado was going to win 4 games. Like, we talk about the teams that Shedeur Sanders was playing against and forget the team that he was on. Like, people that say, oh, you know what? He had Travis Hunter. That's all he had. It was Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. That was it. That's all Colorado had. You name me one other person that's getting drafted on Colorado. Shiloh probably gets drafted in the 6th or 7th round. That's what Colorado was Shedeur and Travis Hunter, period. They put that team on their back. Deion ain't out there throwing passes. He ain't out there deflecting passes either. Let's beef up the defense now. That's a fact. We can do that. We can do all of that. We're not limited to one draft pick, and we're not limited to $5 million of cap space. No, we can make things happen. It's still a process, though. So that's just like the quarterback the Bears just took. If it was a pick number 1, I was picking Jaden. I was higher on Jaden too. I was too. operating. You saw the type of structure Caleb Williams played in. That USC system, that's not quarterback friendly. He was running around making plays. There was no real structure to USC. That's the difference. That's a big difference. Like even when you look at Cam Ward, there's no real structure to that. He's just a phenomenal player. There's structure to that Colorado offense. That's a pro-style offense. It's different. We got to take everything into consideration here. And the same thing we talk about competition. We just can't draft quarterbacks because of the conference they play in either. If that's the case, every SEC quarterback will be fantastic. And we already know they don't have the best track record now either. So let's not do all that now. Let's pump the brakes. Thomas Darby, Daniel Jones was never good. Even the year we went to the playoffs, Dable deserved credit for using what he had. Absolutely. Simplified offense. Jones should have been put on a prove-it deal and pay Saquon Barkley bad GM. Now, at that time, when that decision was being made, I was mad at Saquon Barkley because they offered him the contract at the bye week, and then they were trying to get a deal done with him and Daniel Jones at the same time. And I feel like if Saquon Barkley would have took that deal, Daniel Jones would have absolutely have been tagged, and then we wouldn't be in the situation that we're in right now. But nah, I agree with you. Thomas. Wester is nice. He's absolutely nice. What round is he going in? Like what rank is he for the wide receivers? You could talk about the other guy too. The tall dude. I'm forgetting his name right now. Was it 13? It's 13. I'm drawing a blank right now. Somebody had to get him the ball. Where was Wester at before Shedeur got there? Where was Wester? Why are these guys nice? I mean, we back and forth. We can do all that, man. It's. I love having those type of debates. This ain't the day for that, but yeah. But nah, Wester is nice. And why is he nice? But where is he also ranked? That's the question. Who's running? Who's running to the podium to draft Wester? I like Wester too, though. So I don't want to talk bad about him. I like Wester too. Fast, can run routes, good hands. Super light though. Super light. Hopefully he can survive at the next level. I think he can though. He got to gain a little bit more weight, but we'll see what happens. And shout out to him and his brother too, as he played with his brother in Colorado. Captain America says Daniel Jones is selling custom turtlenecks in Minnesota. Did he get fired already? Mayo got fired already? That's dirty. That is dirty. Did he get fired? I don't see it, but nah, I believe you. Listen, man, that means Vrabel's going to the Patriots. That's all exactly, Jay Fred. Yeah, that Vrabel's going to the Patriots. Yeah. When they hired Mayo, Vrabel still had a job in Tennessee. Vrabel's going to be the new coach for the Patriots. Yep. Sheesh. What else we got going on here? King D says, I truly believe Sanders will not be good in the NFL. I can be wrong. I'm usually right on the quarterbacks, just like I'm one of the few people that wanted Michael on the Giants, and the Falcons got him. Listen, I was right there with Michael Penix. I thought Michael Penix was the best thrower of the ball in last year's draft. I had him behind Jaden Daniels. I had him before Drake May. Again, we don't agree. That's fine. We don't agree. And listen, Shedeur Sanders couldn't mess around and be terrible. Absolutely. I'm willing to take a chance, though. I think I've seen enough. I believe in the skill set. But no, I can be wrong. You can be wrong. It is what it is at the end of the day. The best thing about it, though, King D, we're not professionals. We don't get paid to make this decision, and our jobs are not on the line. It's easy for us, man. It is easy for us. Whoever's in the regime needs to be right on Shedeur, Cam Ward, or if they decide to pass, they need to be right. We don't have to be right. They need to be right. It is what it is. Shout out to my man Joseph with the $10 super chat. He says, "Hey Dash, we need a quarterback, defensive tackle, right tackle, DB, and a lot of prayers. Nice talking with you. Gotta go chase the grandkids." Yo, thank you for the love and support, Joseph. Man, you go ahead and make sure you chase those grandkids and have fun, man. Happy New Year to you. Have a good one, brother. I'll talk to you soon. Appreciate you. King D says, "Josh Allen came from nowhere. You can ask all my friends. I said he was going to be good, and I'm a big Josh Allen fan. We all know Joe was going." Listen, I got the tweets when it comes to Josh Allen. I called when I first watched Josh Allen at Wyoming. I said, you know what? He looks like the skinny Ben Roethlisberger, like the old school big dude running around with a big arm making plays. That was my comparison to Josh Allen when he was at Wyoming. Listen, agree. Listen, we're so on point with other quarterbacks. And again, I understand your opinion. This is one thing we don't agree with. Just one, and I respect your opinion. I respect it. Will Shepard. Yep, that's his name. Will Shepard. Thank you. I was drawing a blank. Will Shepard. Will Shepard, 6'2", just under 200 pounds, probably. Possession type wide receiver. He got open. And the one thing about him is a lot of the plays he made, you know, Shedeur Sanders was letting them make a play. Let your playmakers make the plays. That's what we were waiting for with this. We just needed a quarterback to put the ball in the air. That's why last week when we saw Drew Lock, he was just putting the ball in the air. Tim Boyle, that game that Tim Boyle played, he was putting the ball in the air. I don't need somebody to be absolutely fantastic. I don't need Patrick Mahomes. I need a guy that's going to throw these guys the ball. If he ends up being as good as Patrick Mahomes, fantastic. I need a quarterback that's confident enough to throw this ball and let your playmakers make plays. That's what I'm asking for. And these guys will absolutely throw that ball. They'll throw the ball. A lot of people, Tim Boyle was throwing that ball. I don't know what Drew Lock was doing today. Jimmy Horn Jr. It's a damn shame what happened to Jimmy Horn too. He was injured for he missed a lot of games for the injuries. I like Jimmy Horn too. I think he can be a special teams and returner type guy too. I like Jimmy Horn. And again, where were these guys at prior to playing with Shedeur Sanders, right? A lot of these guys are names because of, you know, who they played with. And guess what? Shedeur is thankful to them as well because he got to throw them the ball. They got to catch it at the end of the day too. So yeah, they did fire Merritt. Man, that's dirty. That's the Patriots are dirty for that one. I mean, I understand if they're going after Mike Vrabel, I understand. Jared Mayo is going to be a good coach. And he's going to be a fantastic defensive coordinator because it's going to be a while before he gets another head coaching job. But he can coach a defense for sure. And maybe they jumped the gun. It was supposed to be a succession with Bill Belichick and Gerard Mayo. It is what it is. Again, that's Boston at the end of the day. And if we're trying to keep it real, it ended up being a lot of chocolate in Boston. And if you got a lot of chocolate in Boston, you better be winning games because that leash is short. that leash in Boston is short. Michael Knight, what's going on, Michael Knight? What's good, Dash? Can you please talk about how sorry Banks? I don't want to talk about Banks. Respectfully, I don't want to talk about Banks. If you don't get a different scheme in here, you're going to see the same type of Banks next year. You need a man press type of defensive scheme for Banks to excel. You can't put him in a zone for whatever reason. You would think with his skill set, him being as fast as he is, that the zone defense would be an easy pickup for him, and it really wasn't. And he also has some just individual skills that he needs to work on. One of the most important things is getting your head around as a cornerback. That's probably outside of just getting beat and having good feet, being able to get your head around at the end of the day, especially when you're always in the trail technique. He needs to do that. He absolutely needs to do that. King D says, at the end of the day, my son always asks me, my youngest son, why are you a Giants fan, Dad? Because all he has seen is losing. I'm right here with you. I'm right here with you. I tell him it's because the owner and the fans. Yeah, that's a good excuse. Now I'm right here with you, man, with that. Like, my oldest has seen 2 Super Bowls. My middle son saw 1 Super Bowl, and my youngest has not seen a Super Bowl. Yeah, I'm right here with you. Rocky Fresh says, who's your choice as a bridge? Fields, Cousins, Wentz, others. I, I said it earlier. I like Jameis Winston, not just because of what he can do on the field. Obviously, he's not very good anymore. But he is solid. I just like what he brings to the locker room. Like the Giants have so many problems. They do need a leader on the team, a vocal leader, and I think Jameis Winston is a good enough vocal leader and a leader of men that he can bring some change to the locker room. Of course. So Jameis Winston is high on my list for those reasons. Fields, I don't want to touch Fields right now. Cousins is damaged goods. Carson Wentz is a is a consolation of free agency. Can he have the type of resurgence that Sam Darnold had or Baker Mayfield had? Maybe he's an older guy than those guys too. But right now, it just depends on who's here and what system we're running. If Brian Dable being here, I don't think Cousin fits a Brian Dable system because Brian Dable likes his quarterbacks to be a little bit more athletic, so he can run some of those QB powers and stuff like that. So I would take Cousins off of that list. If it's a different coach in here, a different regime, then you probably can be open to all those guys. If we're going to be honest. I was just talking about Dart. I love Dart. I like Dart a lot because I know what Dart is. I don't expect Dart to come here and be a day one starter. If we were to draft a guy like Dart needs some developing. He needs to learn how to read defenses. He needs to learn more of a pro style offense because they don't do that at Ole Miss. But I like his skill set. I like his swag. He does have an arm. You can't deny his arm. He is athletic. He can run the ball. He has all of that. He just needs some development. So I do like Dart, but I wouldn't touch Dart in the first round. No. I couldn't do it. Miller Moss is going back, right? Is Miller Moss going back? Miller Moss might mess around to be a UDFA, though, if we're being honest. He might be a UDFA. I like McCord. I like Will Howard. I like Dart more than I like Dylan Gabriel more than I like Miller Moss. Moss is in the portal. Thank you. So even Lincoln Riley didn't like Moss. Oh man. My man Cloud Data says Wentz, he's getting smashed with the best offensive coach. Boy. Yeah. So we're almost at an hour and a half. I'm gonna slow this thing down, make sure I get to all these comments. So go ahead and get these comments in so I can, react with the people. What's that? Gerald Abrams says, "What up, Dash? What about a trade with Pats for Milton?" So somebody had to be the first person to say something like that, man. I'm gonna say this to you, Gerald. You do know Charlie from Maine. You're a Giants fan, so I'm sure you know who Charlie from Maine is. Charlie loves Joe Milton. Milton had a fantastic day today. That was one of the games that I had, on the TV today. And he surprised me with some of the movement, the pocket awareness, him putting the ball in certain places. He had a fantastic game. With that being said, the Patriots also saw that. They got his rights for like 4 years, and so unless you're trying to give them some goods, they're probably going to keep Joe Milton. We saw Drake May have issues this year, the concussion, he had to sit out a game and stuff like that. They're probably going to hold on to Joe Milton, especially after this game. And that's the important thing. Like, people thought the Patriots were crazy. Oh, you drafted Drake May. Why are you drafting Joe Milton? That's why you draft Joe Milton. If your quarterback's not able to play, you have a good backup behind him. There's nothing wrong with taking chance on quarterbacks, especially when they have high upside. Like Milton's arm, undeniable. One of the strongest arms in the draft last year. The main knock on him was they were talking about his accuracy. He couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. Today, he shut a lot of people up. He had a good game today. Now, again, the Buffalo Bills, that was a skeleton crew for the Buffalo Bills. So it is what it is. Stanley says, breaking news. What's the breaking news? What's the breaking? You can't just say breaking news and don't give me any kind of information after that. What's the breaking news? We're on high alert right now. They did Mayo dirty. Yeah. They told us, Stanley. They told us Jared Mayo got fired. A lot of people were saying that too, man. And like I said, that sucks. He didn't get a fair chance. He didn't get a fair chance. I don't know what they expected in New England. Like, you had Bill Belichick last year, and you were picking 3. You expect Jared Mayo to turn around that? A rookie head coach to turn around the season like the turnaround? No. No. They have somebody in mind. You don't fire Jared Mayo. Like, they probably just they're fresh out the showers, and you already fired Jared Mayo, and you already made it known that you fired. They have something else in the works. Like, when things happen, you got to see, what the benefit is. You have to look at the situation like who benefits from this if we're making this news this fast. Something this fast, I wouldn't be surprised if Vrabel is not interviewing for the job tomorrow or Tuesday. I wouldn't be surprised. Exactly, Johnny. Oh, is that John Ray? Sorry, John Ray. Exactly. What did Jay Ferris with the $5 super chat? He says, our only hope is a strong black man, maybe 2 or 3, kicking the Maris door and saving our friend. Huh? What are we talking about, Jay? Oh man, Jay, what are we talking about? My man, Real Cold G says, Jay, what the hell are you talking about? Listen, Jay, I know what you mean, because I know you've commented this before. Not that exact thing, but I know what you're getting at. That's funny. Patriots wanted to get rid of the we don't hire black head coaches stigma. Oh, okay, I got you. But they did, and then they fired him. And listen, it was a succession though. Like, Belichick had groomed Jared Mayo for the past couple of seasons to take over. They honored it for 1 year. He said Jay wild as hell. That's funny. Yeah. Jared Mayo is just listen, it is what it is, man. Sometimes you gotta have that early success. You gotta do it fast. It's a small window that you have in certain situations, and it's not the first time we saw it, and won't be the last time we see it either. Unfortunately. Jay Fred said it though. He said it. But yeah, we had an hour and a half. I'm about to get out of here, man. Again, I appreciate everybody for vibing with me. The New York Giants end this season 3 and 14. 3 and 14, not what we expected to see. And for me, highly disappointed. And I'll be even more upset if we don't make wholesale changes at the end of the day. But yeah, definitely not what we expected to see. If this is your first time here, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Again, the season is over for the New York Giants, but you know what? It's just the next move. We're getting into free agency. We're getting into the draft, the combine, the Senior Bowl. I will be here for all of that. Doing some videos here and there and still doing these lives. Obviously, there won't be any more, post-game live reactions and stuff like that, but I still will be jumping on here, especially on Saturday nights when I do my late night Giants talk. So make sure you guys are here for that, man. And again, respect to everybody. Much love to everybody. Happy New Year to everybody. And with that being said, I'm going to shut this thing down, man. Make sure I hit all the super chats. I think I'm good with all the super chats. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And from one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dash Knows, Big Blue Nation.